and welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J Velez, on Instagram at jvelez622. We're going to review some comics that I like, that I love, and some that I don't like or love. I own all the comic books that I am showing. Even though we're going to be looking at them digitally, I actually have copies of every single comic book that we are going to review. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here as I discuss my favorite subject, comic books. I have to make a confession. Comic books is one of my favorite subjects, but I'm a huge sports fan and I love college football, so I can also talk that all day. But comic books, you can't go wrong there. Today we're going to be looking at Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3, 6 through 10 with Miles Morales. Great cover by Carrie Andrew. He does digital art. Beautiful cover. So this first part here is drawn. It's written by Bendis, as he wrote all the Ultimate Spider-Man at that time. But this one is drawn by Chris Samnee, whom I love, 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 love. So beautiful. He just renders with all the blacks. He's such an ink slinger, and I truly love his style. So we start in Mexico City, and this is the Prowler. He walks into this bar, and he's looking for someone. And he goes in the back and looks, and some thugs are waiting for him. Aaron wants to speak to the man in charge, and they all sort of attack. And here he comes. This is the Scorpion, who appears to be like a Mexican cartel drug lord of some kind. So that what he stole from Oscorp is for him, and told the guys not to disrespect them and that they should know better. He electrocutes them, and Scorpion kind of smiles and says, "Oh, you've been to the Tinkerer." So I love the the line, the brushwork. Chris Samnee is one of my favorites. I have his Daredevil run. I have his Captain America run. I have so many things. Chris Samnee, I just fell in love with his artwork. And I also get his creator owned. He's got two creator owned series that I just find fascinating. So whatever he draws, he's someone whose work I truly like. So we're now going to Brooklyn, and here comes Miles, and this woman's being accosted. They're gonna rob her. He comes in to save her. This guy hits him. They're gonna mask him. He kicks him, and kind of starts disposing of them a little bit. And cops are coming, so he throws one into the other so that they don't get away. And they arrest him. The lady's thankful, but the cops, of course, do their thing. And they're gonna try to arrest him, and he goes away, but he's being recorded here. And so we're now back in Mexico City. Scorpion asks Prowler about the package, and Prowler asks Scorpion about the money. And eventually he pays him after Prowler threatens him and asks for the package. And he says, "You don't get that when you put the knife in the throat." And suddenly he's realizes he can't stab him, The guy, if you take a look, the knife didn't go through, and he goes to use his little device, but it doesn't work. Kicks him in the nuts, runs out, but the police arrest him, and he's gonna try to use it again, but it's out of juice again. So back in Brooklyn, Miles talks to his mama, and he's feeling bad about that conversation, because what his dad used to be like, and his mom tells him that his dad changed, but Miles says, I'm half of you guys. Does that in me? And she tells him not to worry about that, and that he's his own person, and also that Uncle Aaron isn't very good, the Prowler, so that he should stay away. So he's, like I said, he's concerned because he doesn't want to end up being like them, or like a bad person, because he just had to fight those other people. So, and then here comes, oh my goodness, I completely forgot his name. Oh, duh, it's right here, Genki. Ah, sorry guys. All right, so you can tell. I mean, I've read these, but I wasn't reading these. I'm just kind of giving you guys a play by play, so I wasn't really looking at the words. So, all right, Genki needs to show him something, and that it's important, because Genki knows, of course, that he is Spider-Man, but the mom and dad don't know. So they'll finish the conversation later. Genki says, "Hey, there's a video of you, and that he needs to learn how to fight." And he shows him a movie that the real Spider-Man, if you followed Ultimate Spider-Man, then you know all this, but if you don't follow Ultimate Spider-Man, it's okay. There was a movie that they were doing of Spider-Man, and in that movie, he had to actually, the real Spider-Man showed up, and he had to fight Dr. Octopus, so he wants Miles to kind of learn how to do what Peter did, because he's not there anymore. And if he's going to do that, he needs to be ready. So at the Daily Bugle, this is Betty Brant, or this version of Betty Brant. Says he got that, and she says that if she gives him the job back, that it, so she gives him the job back, that the footage is hers. He says he wants the kid, and she says, "You give me the job back, and I'll drag him here." So Jonah looks at it, and apparently she's rehired. So back in jail, he gets the paper. He sees the pictures, and he wants someone to tell him, what does it say? I love it. He can't read Mexican. That's just so funny. So this ends this issue. So we'll go right ahead and go to number 7 with another great cover by Carrie Andrews. Man, he's so good. So good. So obviously they're watching that movie. So we start off with the video of that Spider-Man fight, and Miles is kind of practicing. Of course, his mom walks into the room, and he's sits down, and he's sitting down real funny. And she's asking what he's doing, and he's like working out, and then she's watching, and so she thinks he's doing something else. So Miles is like, "How did Peter do it?" So they're having dinner. Dad's not happy that there's a new Spider-Man, thinks people are crazy, and that he wants to move away from the city. Mom doesn't wanna, and says, he's being unfair, and he's thinking about the time Magneto killed a bunch of people, and then she's saying, "I remember when a little boy dressed up as a superhero." So she's just trying to stay positive, and of course he's lingering on the negative, and Miles is like, superheroes are crazy, or superheroes are cool, to which Dad says, "You guys are crazy." So First of all, this is a great panel by Chris Samnee. Look at that. So, and then all this is inner monologue. So, great panel. I'll just look at it again here. I love Chris Samnee. So, all right. So, he's thinking, and he wonders about the how Peter made webs when he realizes how high up he is, and how you know, how's he gonna get down and all that stuff. So that's pretty funny. So goes in there, and they see him, and thinks suddenly there's an explosion. Good panel here, like the lettering coming. And Miles is like, all right, this is what superheroes do. And he leaps. And of course, he doesn't have webbing. So he's like, crud. He does manage to land on this little water tower and starts to make his way over there. And he says there's a buzzing in his head. And of course, that's a spider sense. And here's Omega Red. And now we're in the Tinker's workshop, and gets a gun pointed at him. It's the Prowler. The Prowler thinks he ripped him off. He says the suit ran out of juice after 2. He's like, hey, it was only supposed to go off once, so you're supposed to use it and run. So it's his fault for staying there. Then he says he had to go to prison. He says again, that's his fault. So, and he thinks that this new Spider-Man is his thing. He says, nope, not him. And that was an Osborn thing. And he starts to think about the spider. And of course, he says, yeah, that one that with the number. And he says, who else knows about this? He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. To which Prowler shoots him. So we do definitely know that he's not a good guy. And Spider-Man and Omega Red continue to battle. Love Chris Samnee's art. And Spider-Man eventually punches him, but it's not enough. And, Omega Red's a little annoyed. But he uses the little Venom punch, or the Venom blast, and electrocutes him. So, and he's very happy he won his first fight. And then he's telling Genki about it. And of course, Uncle Aaron shows up. So that concludes this issue. So now we're going to go to the next one. So another great cover by Carrie Andrews with Spider-Man taking on the Scorpion. Good stuff. This kind of looks like a fish right here. So, all right. So if you can't tell by the Eiffel Tower, we're in Paris. So Sarah Pichelli has returned as the artist. And we have Aunt May and Gwen Stacy on vacation. And suddenly Aunt May sees something. And she grabs the paper. Says, what does it say? And says, there's a new Spider-Man. So they both, I think, are suspecting of things. So back in Brooklyn, Aaron's here, the Prowler, and he tells Genki, tells him to go, and then he'll find him. The Prowler, of course, knows who he is, and not to deny it, and he has plans. This is a specialty, he says, and this is one of the teachers. He's not on the, tells him he's his uncle. He's not on the list and has to leave. And they'll escort him. He's like, I'd love to see you try. And here comes security. He ends up leaving and looks at Miles. And so at the police station, this is Miles's dad. And they're going to talk to one of the Kingpin's old people, or old soldiers. And he wants him to talk to him about the new Spider-Man. And we got some thugs here. The Scorpion shows up, asks for the Prowler. None of them are impressed. They tell him to keep going. Scorpion's not too happy. Beats them, hurts them, and then decides that they need a new leader, and he's going to lead them, and he wants a Scorpion. If they don't get it for him, he's going to kill them. So, and you can see Miles is distracted, and so he wants them to, he wants Genki to cover for him. And so this guy's like, where's Miles? And he's like, Miles who? So there's the security cameras, and he's trying to get away. And I almost call him, I keep wanting to call him Peter. So Miles is kind of looking for his uncle, thinking. Suddenly he sees all these rings and knows that it's one of Spider-Man's old villains. So he's going to fight him. Has these rings thrown out at him. And Miles goes in, but he gets trapped a little bit. But hey, he's very athletic, and so his feet are still there. So jumps up, kicks him, and police show up, and they draw their weapons. And of course, Miles' dad is like, stand down, tell him that he's gonna have a chat with him. And so now we go to number 9, another great cover by Carrie Anders. I love that blur looking like movement. So and so here we go. So we're here, and I was wrong. This isn't Miles's dad. For some reason, I thought he was a cop, but he's not. This is not his dad. I kept so that is my bad. So this is not his dad. So I was wrong. Anyway, he's coming in there. I think this is Captain Quaid, and they want him unmask Spider-Man. Captain says nope. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but the art is by David Marquez. Okay, so we had 2 issues with Chris Samnee. Sarah Pichelli did the last one, and now we got David Marquez here, who's also a very good artist. And so they're not going to unmask him, because when they unmasked Randy, the guy that's Iron Fist, Danny Rand, he sued the department for violating his civil rights, which, must be in the comic books, because not in real life. And he figures he's a kid, and tells him, to go home. So, and he's like, well, I'm an adult or whatever, but so he doesn't want to go away, so he says, all right, I'm asking, but you said, and he goes, grab him, so he finally goes away. So he's like, I just wanted him to go away. So the Ringer's gonna try to get away, but they tase him. So the Prowler goes to the Tinker's warehouse, and of course the Scorpion was waiting for him, and the Prowler says he knew he was gonna come, and he was ready. And so Scorpion attacks him. He uses electricity. He says he knew the Tinker had better stuff out there, and he's using it on them. Takes out the men, fights the Scorpion. He tosses him to the side or away, and he goes a little crazy. But of course, he gets the Vulture's suit and takes care of all the thugs. And Scorpion's like, you have no idea where I come from. And the fact that he couldn't take him down, he's like, what the heck? So here comes the Scorpion. He hits him again and flies away. So Prowler's a little bit freaked out. They're looking for Miles. Checks. He says, "Oh, he's in the bathroom." He goes and checks the bathroom. He's not in there. He comes back. Miles is here, and he says, "If this happens again, I'm calling your parents." And the roommate's like, you guys need to tell me what's going on, and they don't. So, the less people you tell a secret, the less likely they are to, share it. So, Genki and him text for a little bit, and then Uncle Aaron sends him a text to meet. So, all right, we're down to our last issue of the story arc, and so David Marquez is still the artist here. So Prowler and Spider-Man meet. Prowler tells him to take off his mask. Spider-Man says, "You first." So they talk for a little bit. Kind of, Prowler's trying to convince him to kind of do what he wants, and says that he didn't steal the spider. He was trying to steal something else, and then he just took it. So, which is, he says he accidentally picked it up when he broke in, trying to take something else, and Miles is asking him what we're looking for, and Prowler doesn't answer him, tells him at another time. So, they have a ethical conversation here. So, asks, what kind of powers does Miles have, and he wants him to show him, and Prowler attacks him just to see how he reacts, and Miles, of course, gets a little upset. Well, very upset. Basically, he's just trying to get him to react, and he does. Touches him, and he's like, that venom blast. So you can see how angry he is. But he says he always knew he had it in him. So, and then they asked him who told him he was the Prowler, and if it was his dad. He says, no, it was Nick Fury. Prowler's surprised that Nick Fury even knows who he is. He's kind of proud of it. So he asks him what he wants, and he says that the two of them should work together. And Spider-Man says, I'm going back to school. And says if he... basically, he's going to threaten him to tell his dad is kind of where we're going to go if he doesn't help him. So blackmails him. So he wants his help to basically take down the Scorpion. And the Scorpion says, if you think I'm a bad guy, the Scorpion is even worse. So, and leaves Miles to ponder. And Miles sees the Avengers or the Ultimates or whatever they were called during this time. I don't really remember. I'm not gonna look it up. So, they were the Ultimates. I think now they're the Avengers. So, and he's really thinking, kind of just a lot in his mind. And so. I like that the mom says, I love you. He says, I love you too, and goes back. And the dad's like, congratulations, it's a teenager. And so we get to our last page here, and he's going to, he hasn't quite decided what to do. And Prowler texts him. And this is the end. So, hope you like it. This is from 2012. Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3. 6 through 10. So, hope you like it. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe.